Rockabatko here with Orioles manager Buck Showalter for the latest edition of Buck Blog. And Buck, you've got a nice stretch of 7:05 starts here. I know a lot of people may not understand, but how much of a challenge is it when you have so many different starting times, a lot of day games in a row, and then you try and get the body clock adjusted again?
Well, it'd be kind of like the Golden State Warriors playing the Cavaliers tonight, you know, the next day and at 1 o'clock. Probably it'd be like the Ravens playing at home and playing the Browns the next day in Cleveland. But, it's a whole different sport, and we understand why. It's got to do mostly with TV and money and things like that, and it's a great way to earn a living, but it's a challenge. Everything you can to try to stay on a routine, because there's 4 o'clock games, there's 1 o'clock games, there's 2 o'clock games, there's 7 o'clock games, and I'm just glad that people think they're important enough to televise them. So we try to keep that in mind, and it's in the whole scheme of life. There's people working 9 to 5 out there 5 days a week that would love to trade places with you. So, we travel well, we stay well. So, but I think just from a competitive standpoint, and I know this stretch has been real challenging for our guys. I know talking to them in an advance meeting at 11 o'clock yesterday morning after getting back from a 10-day trip, it was a challenge. But every team has their tale of woe, and it shouldn't be that way, and we try to stay away from that. But you ask.
We're about 2 months into the season now. Are there any surprises in the division, or things playing out like you anticipated, or anything that's kind of stood out at you that made you go, wow, I didn't see that coming?
You go through seasons, and all it really is about, to oversimplify it, is to stretch out the good times and shorten the bad ones. And every team in our division is going to rip off stretches where they look unbeatable, And, I know walking up the runway sometime you say, geez, how are you ever going to win a game or lose a game? Because, you can't live in that mentality. And you have to look at it like it's a given, especially with the teams we have in our division, that, they're all going to be there. You can make a case for every one of them. And I'm more interested in making a case for us. And, we got to stay in touch with what we have to do.
Looking ahead as I plan my schedule out, we've got the first-year player draft coming up in a few weeks. How important is it to this organization, maybe compared to some others, because this seems like this is a pretty big date for you guys?
Well, we have, I think, 11 or 12 guys on our current roster from our system. And, it's a big, it's about acquiring and amassing assets for the organization, where they are to play for you, or to acquire somebody, and that's the lifeblood of every organization. Some teams could go out and buy some things, and but that draft is for who we are, and how we have to do it is very, very important.
You referenced some guys on the roster that were drafted by this organization. It's most of the rotation right now. Do you feel like that needs to be taken into account whenever, I know a lot of the national publications aren't real kind when they grade the farm system, but when you look at how many guys are on this roster contributing?
Well, if you're trading some of those guys or bring them to the big leagues, they're not going to be on the prospect list anymore. Isn't that how it works? I chuckle at some of the way people look at things, and that's why I don't read much, mostly about what y'all tell me, because it's still about the major league team and how you acquire players, whether they're your own or somebody else's, in your evaluation of people, not only as players but as people. And we've done a good job with that so far.
It's an exciting time for your son Nathan. I'm sure he's been pretty busy.
Oh, he's got a lot of help. We've got so many people that are the fruition of their work is getting ready to come into play on the 9th, and I know it'll be a big day for them. And unfortunately, we'll be in Toronto, but maybe it's fortunate for them that I'm not here. But no, I stay out of their business, and it's always fascinating because it matters to us. And you hear things back and forth about what's going on, and you look at things. And I think we got 4 picks now in the top 100, and hopefully the players we acquired for Mattis will be as good as that draft pick, and we'll see.
He's Orioles manager Buck Showalter. I'm Rockabatko from MassonSports.com. Thanks for watching.